Hello everybody, I'm the airplane expert Hideki. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to review an airplane that developed with a dream of revival of aviation technology. I would like to introduce the 172 Mitsubishi F-1 90-8227 6 Squadron JASDF from Hobby Master. The Mitsubishi F-1 is a Japanese swept-wing, single-seat, twin-engine, supersonic strike aircraft that was in service with the Japan Air Self-Defense Force (JASDF) from 1978 to 2006. It is essentially a Mitsubishi Heavy Industries.T-2 training airframe modified for a dedicated anti-ship and ground attack roles. This is the first fighter originally developed by Japan after World War II. Although it is a support fighter, in the JASDF, it may be classified as an attack aircraft or a fighter bomber because of its performance and operational purpose. In addition, in order to defend Japan, an island nation surrounded by the sea on all sides, anti-ship attacks were expected from initial stages, in combination with air-to-ship missiles and domestically produced Type 80 air-to-ship guided missiles (ASM-1) were installed. Since 1967, the development of the T-2 had been underway as an advanced training aircraft for training the crew of the F-104, a supersonic aircraft equipped with a fire control radar, but on the development side, the training aircraft alone was not enough. Since the number of production was small and with the cost rises, an idea of diverting it to a support fighter arose, increasing the number of production and reducing the unit price. The JASDF had 13 squadrons, of which 3 were supported to be support fighter units, whose mission was to block and attack landing invasion units at sea or on the ground. As a fighter bomber, the F-86F, which became a surplus with the introduction of the F-104, it was supposed to be retired soon due to aging. Although F4EJ was selected as the second FX in 1969, the budget was not enough to fill the hole that was made since the F-86F retired, and after discussion in the Diet, the bombing calculation function was removed, and its function as a fighter bomber was reduced. If the T-2 was refurbished as the fighter, the rolling capability will be less than the F-4EJ, but far higher than the current F-86F, and would also lead to the development of fighter development capabilities, so the T-2 was conceived as the support fighter. As a result, the T-2 was premised on the development of support fighter as a training aircraft that can be trained tactics as the successor to the F-86F, had the potential for support combat, and had the ability to fly at supersonic speed. The first XT2 was delivered on December 15, 1971, and when development had settled down, design work began on the T2 to convert into a prototype support fighter. This support fighter type was called the FST-2 Kai. At the end of March 1973, a system design was ordered from Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, and a fire control system, FCS, was ordered from Mitsubishi Electric, and work began earlier in the year. Consideration was given in sharing designs with the T2 as much as possible. Of the T2's first contract signed in March of the same year, T2 mass production number 2, Visual Code number 106, and number 3, Visual Code number 107, were considered to be FS-T2 flight test beds. Visual Code number 107 flew on June 3, 1975, and Visual Code number 106 flew on June 7, 1975. Flight tests by the Air Development and Test Wing began at the end of July 1975. By March 1976, 213 sorties flights had been carried out, and the name was changed to F-1. The original plan was to purchase 126 aircraft to make 4 squadrons, but the purchase was changed to 68 aircraft to make 3 squadrons. In addition, the first mass production plan, which was originally planned to start in 1973, was postponed because of voluntary reductions due to the oil crisis, and was finally started in 1975. The first mass-produced aircraft, serial number 70-8201, rolled out on February 25th, 1977, and made its maiden flight on June 16th. It was delivered on September 16 and was deployed to the 3rd Squadron at Misawa Base. The alert mission began on March 13, 1979, and the first scramble was carried out on April 4th. Subsequently, the 8th Squadron from June 1979 to February 1980 and the 6th Squadron at Twig Air Base completed the model combat from March 1980 to February 1981. But the 4th Squadron was financial and was not carried out due to the opposition of the authorities. After the production of spare aircraft continued after 1979, the final 77 aircraft were delivered on March 9, 1987, and the production was discontinued. Most of the designs of this aircraft followed that of T-2, and the flight characteristics are also almost the same. The part that was supposed to be the rear seat in T-2 is the electric equipment room, and this is not the canopy, but a metal outer panel. In this arrangement, the rear part of the pilot seat is raised, and the rear view is greatly obstructed. Therefore, at the designing stage, it was considered leaving the rear seat and using the front seat as the electric equipment room. However, it was rejected because the design change would be quite large. The Quip Delta type main wing has a high wing arrangement has a bulge angle of 9 degrees. Main wing with high wing loading as adopted in the T2, but it was also suitable for flying at high speed in low altitude as a support fighter. On the other hand, aiming for excellent supersonic performance, it is small and has a very thin cross-section, so it was not possible to install a fuel tank inside the main wing, and the amount of the fuel load was reduced. For this reason, a maximum of 3 220 gallons 833 liters drop tanks were installed outside the aircraft, one under the fuselage and one under each of the left and right wings. The horizontal stabilizer is fully floating type with a various angle of 15 degrees. In addition, camouflage painting was introduced on this aircraft, assuming that it would be used for ground attacks. To make it difficult to find in the sky, the upper and side surface of the aircraft are shades of green and brown camouflage, and the lower surface is a light gray color that mixes in with the sky. This was based on the result of comparative study of 3 F-86F aircrafts, with reference to the camouflage method of the US Air Force and NATO by applying 3 types of paint to suit the Japanese climate. This model's F-1 90-8227 6th Squadron has ASM-1 dummies under both wings. As an anti-ship weapon, a total of 2 Type 80 air-to-ship guided missiles ASM-1, one under each wing, were installed. This was a domestic air-to-ship missile, anti-ship guided missile, developed almost in parallel with F-1. From the development stage of F-1, the operation of the short-range air-to-ship missile, ASM, was also envisioned as a future concept. After that, along with the progress of F-1, the development was advanced and was improved from 1974 to 1978. Due to the delay in the development of the successor F-2, it remained in active service for a long time. But in 2006, the last aircraft deployed to the 6th Squadron at Zurich Air Base was retired and ended operation. The 6th Squadron was formed on August 1, 1959, as the 6th F-86F fighter unit of the Air Self-Defense Force under the control of the 2nd Air Wing at Chitose Air Base. On the April 1, 1960, they moved to Matsushima Air Base and became a slave of the 5th Air Corps. The 5th Air Corps and 6th Squadron, which had been trained at Matsushima Air Base for over a year, moved to New Tabaru Air Base on July 15, 1961, and took on the task of anti-aircraft invasion measures. When the deployment of F-104 fighters to New Tabaru Air Base began, in March 1964, the 6th Squadron moved to Tsuiki Air Base on October 26, 1964 with the formation of the Temporary Coastal Detachment. When the Temporary Coastal Contingent was reorganized into the 8th Air Corps, on the 28th of March, it was incorporated as the subordinate of the Air Corps. Deployment of F-1 support fighters to the 6th Squadron began on March 11, 1980, and model conversion training from the F-86F was conducted. It took nearly a year to receive 19 F-1s and completed deployment on February 28, 1981. At the same time, the Squadron was converted from an interceptor combat to a support combat. The F-1 operation in the 6th Squadron lasted from 25 years, but the receipt of the 5th. The F-1 operation in the 6th Squadron lasted from 25 years, but the receipt of the F-2 began on August 3, 2004, and the F-1 and F-2 flight teams were formed in the squadron. Then, the model conversion training to F-2 was started. The final flight of F-1 was made on March 9, 2006. The unit mark was a red belt on the symbolized version of an 8 in the F-86F era. In the F-1 era, it was changed to representative reverse hook and bow that appears in the myth about Mount Takachiho in the same Kyushu region. Takachiho is a place name that appears in Japanese mythology. It is said to be the place where God came down to start Japan. When F-1 90-8227 was retired, it was sent to the JASDF Air Park at the Hamamatsu Air Base in Shizuoka Prefecture, where it is displayed indoors. Today, we looked at 172 Mitsubishi F-1 90-8227 6th Squadron JASDF from Hobbymaster. My airplane videos are available every Thursday. Hope to see you again soon. Subscribe. Break ready now!